From your perspective, how is the Australian feedlot industry performing?
I think the feedlot industry in Australia, certainly the facility that I've been to, really demonstrates a high level of confidence that the industry is making a very good judgment of what community expectations are, and then working very hard to actually exceed those expectations and be ahead of the curve. Of all the livestock industries that the RSPCA works with, we're really encouraged by the progressive and proactive movement that this industry shows.
Do we have a way to go?
I think everybody always has a way to go. There is no finishing point with animal welfare. There's only just a continuing moving ball, and what I think members of Alpha are showing through the National Feedlot Accreditation Scheme, through the Feedlot of the Year Awards, and actually having a category on animal welfare really shows that the industry is committed to continuing to improve, but also that through these awards programs it is actually pulling everybody up, and meaning that you probably always way beyond what you need to do by law, and that's a great place for an industry to be.
Where do you think we're headed in terms of dehorning, branding, castrating and other invasive procedures?
I think all of those invasive husbandry procedures are ones that the community generally wants to see industries move away from, but it is about looking at why do you do them, and asking yourself truly, do you actually need to do this procedure? If you do need to do it, can it be done with pain relief? Or is there a less invasive way of doing the procedure? Is there mechanisms like breeding? So, for example, the pole gene. So what's the industry doing to actually look at options, look at how young you can actually do this? It's often better to do it younger rather than older. Is there pain relief available? But mostly, is there genetic solutions so you don't have to do it at all? I think this is where all livestock industries have got a little way to go. You're all quite good at telling each other what you're doing and how you're going. I think the next step is actually being very open and transparent and tell that story to everybody else in the community, have it available. I think Alpha is better than many on doing that, and certainly we're very willing to invite myself and others to actually visit feedlots. They're all really good signs, because the more open you are, obviously, the less you have to hide. And it is about saying, so these are things that we think we're doing well, these are the things that we're still working on, and this is what we're doing to work on them. I think what the general community want to know, and certainly from the perspective of the RSPCA, what we want to know is industries recognise the issues they need to address and have in place programs to actually address them in a reasonable period of time. You know, saying we'll get to it eventually, maybe in 15, 20 years' time, is not enough. It's actually about starting now. The final solution may take many years, but it's actually starting now.
Did your perception of the industry change after visiting Waianui Feedlot?
I think that for anybody who goes to any large facility that has thousands of animals in a comparatively small space and a seemingly barren space, it is a confronting sight, and it doesn't matter whether it's cattle, whether it's sheep, whether it's pigs, whether it's meat chickens, whether it's turkeys. It really doesn't matter. Thousands of animals in a comparatively small space is a quite confronting sight. From my perspective, look, I had a fantastic day. I saw amazing stockmanship. I saw really quiet cattle. There was certainly no smell, and I think that was probably the bit that I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to smell, but there was certainly no smell. It wasn't dusty, and clearly these animals were well looked after. I think the area for the feedlot industry for the future is how important is the choice of movement and moving over large spaces, particularly as cattle are staying in feedlots for longer periods of time, just to meet the basic sort of domestic grain-fed MSA requirements now. And I think that's the area for the industry to work on, which I know that there already is a lot of work going on, but it's to continue that, but again, to be telling people and making that available.